What is good, everybody? Welcome back to episode 9 of BULLDOG BLITZ.
Brad on big ass head.
We are
This
here.
nigga sneak saying doing the introduction.
Hey, yeah, he came in right on time. He came in
right on time.
Absolutely.
Y'all know I don't do this alone. All right, I got my guy, my co-host, Terrence Tucker from the SCSU Bulldog Report. Okay, you see, he got the Bulldog statue. Hey, we in that mode tonight.
You guys gotta listen. Just real briefly, this is Billy the Bulldog. Okay, he's been rocking with me for almost 15 years now. Before I leave the house, I always rub Billy's head for good luck. So Billy asked me, hey man, can I be a part of the show? Okay. Billy asked me, can I be a part of the show? So I felt compelled to let, Billy make his debut tonight. Since we won the MEAC championship. All right. There it is. All right.
He always won. All right. And then of course, we got our special guest, man, for another episode, Brad Gillis. Brad, what's good, my boy?
Kobe, how you doing, man? Terrence, what's happening, sir?
What's going on, my guy?
Not much, man. Not much. Always a pleasure to join such esteemed gentlemen. Thank you guys for having me again, and just excited to talk some Bulldog football and talk about what's next.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hold on, Brad. What? Now, hold up. Now, what kind of jersey is that?
Oh, this old school, baby. This is throwback.
I see you representing.
Throwback.
I see you representing.
This is throwback right here, baby. This is a special occasion, so I had to dig in the crates for this.
Spike. Well, that's the Willie Jeffrey spike right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
I had to dig in the crates for this.
Whites. Well, when they came out the tunnel with well, that's some fresh whites right there, boy.
You already know.
With the cursive writing on them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The boy don't know that.
No, sir.
The boy don't know nothing about that white jersey right there, dog.
No, sir. I had to take it back to the old school.
Yeah, that's that Willie Jeffries right there, dog.
All right, so let's start with Norfolk. Let's recap Norfolk like we always do. Initial thoughts, right? Initial thoughts on that whole game last week. Number one, I just want to point out, shout out to the fans, right? Because last year we didn't have that turnout when we were sending Jablonski and Patrick and those guys off. We barely had anybody in the stands, but this year they showed out. Yeah, I got to give shout out to the fans. You know, it's true. That saying is true, man. Winning brings people together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We came out in spectacular fashion, and we sent those seniors off the right way, and I love to see it, man. We was cheering. You know what I'm saying? We was loud. We was into the game. Shout out to the fans. Y'all did a fantastic job. Y'all didn't just become content because we got our spot in Atlanta. Y'all showed up. I love that. Also, the amount of seniors that we had, I had no clue. I'm sitting here with y'all, everybody taking pictures. I'm recording, right? It's a 12-minute video.
Yeah.
That's how many seniors you got. Yeah. It's a 12-minute video.
Yeah.
So looking back at it, I kind of like how they went about building the roster because they didn't have much time to recruit when they first got here. But the fact that we went out and got these guys who were very experienced, the veterans in their careers, just so we could be in the position that we are now. I am thankful that they did take that route, that they went and got the experienced guys, you know what I'm saying, who, regardless of what level of play they were on, they know what to do. They were in those situations. We weren't a young team. We were very experienced. We've been there, done that. Now, last thing, I kind of watching Stubblefield kind of got me thinking, because the portal booming right now, and we know Eric Phoenix ain't coming back for another year. Do we go get a quarterback? Because from what I seen from Stubb, man, the past 2 years, he been balling. Mm-hmm. Ryan Stubb been balling. I see Ryan Stubblefield going off. I see who we got waiting behind him in Mason Kidd. I see the freshman quarterback that we got from Deland, Florida, and I'm saying to myself, do we look for another quarterback out the portal?
Yes.
Or are we okay with what we got?
No.
You still think we look?
Bruh. I mean, well, first of all, because I know you kind of you kind of went through a lot there. So let me go back to the seniors. First of all, thank you for shouting out those seniors. Senior day was impeccable, man. So many. Listen, you learn a lot by a player when you meet their family members. And Saturday we had the opportunity to meet so many people, family members, and you would be surprised, Kobe, man. We didn't have this conversation during that moment, but after the game, well, like when the players families were lining up to come on the field, when I was walking by them to go get some film of the band marching in, so many of those player families stopped me and said, "Hey man, I love what y'all do. Thank you so much for highlighting my son. You know what I mean? Thank you for just, you know what I'm saying so many positive things." Listen, Aaron Smith, big brother, man, pulled me to the side and say, "Bro, man, I just appreciate you, man, for always talking good about my brother." You know what I'm saying? Logan Jones' mom, she pulled me to the side, her and her dad, because he actually just lost Logan Jones just lost his grandmother.
Wow.
His dad's mom, not too long ago, and they put me to the side and say, "Man, listen, man, I just thank you for always showing love to us, man, and just like you guys have really been a family to us." Like, you know what I'm saying, meeting those parents, that's what South Carolina State is all about right there, man. Just, you know what I mean, family, but you learn so much. Like, we don't know, you know what I'm saying, how much of an impact, right? Brad, you know, you've been, you know what I'm saying, dealing with sports for a very long time. So you've been involved with a lot of people, parents and family members. Sometimes we don't know how we impact people by the things we write or post. You know what I'm saying? And we think it's just something by just saying share, but that share can really impact somebody's day or really bring positivity to, like, you know what I'm saying, Brad, whenever you used to do stories, you had no idea who was reading that story, right? And correct. You know what I'm saying, Kobe, whenever you do a post or whenever you're on YouTube, you have no idea, you have literally no idea who you're impacting, because these families have been raising these kids since they were 1 year old, or 0 years old, right? And now for them to be walking across that field, man, most of them for the last time, was a blessing, and for them to say so many positive things, you know, not only about me but about you and about this platform, that was such a huge blessing. So salute. You said it earlier, but salute to the parents, the cousins, the uncles, the doggone stepdads, the dads, the moms, just the whole community, right, for showing up, man, and just letting us love up on their kids. And not only the football team, but the band, the doggone band members, the football trainers, the cheerleaders, everybody who was a senior who will be graduating from South Carolina State University, whether it be in December or May. Thank you so much for choosing South Carolina State to be your home, and thank you for becoming a part of this family for the rest of your life. Thank you so much for that. Moving forward, man, so much to talk about. So let's talk about. So I personally feel like your guy, the quarterback, what's his name?
Stubb.
Not Stubb. The other
Mason.
The one.
Mason.
Mason is gone.
You think so?
Yes, and I know this for a fact. But hey, Mason is gone. But even if Mason stayed, you still had to get. Oh, you know what? Let's just play like Mason staying. Okay, just for shits and giggles.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Right. You still have to get a quarterback. You still have to get a. You still have, because think about it. You only have 2 scholarship quarterbacks now. Think about it. You got Stubb, Then you got the kid from Florida.
That's TJ.
Yeah,
TJ,
right.
right.
That's it. When have you known Barry to just have 2 scholarship quarterbacks like that? You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen anything from the kid from the freshman kid. He's a true redshirt freshman next year. Like, he didn't get any playing time this year.
Mm-hmm.
See, I ain't know Mason was leaving.
Well, let me just say he's not happy. Put it like that. And he, hey man, you see Stubbs getting all this burn. He has 1 more year. Listen, the doggone writing's on the wall, right? So when you
I think kids are. And let's not put the cart before the horse. Kids want to be a part of something that's special, and so I think we have a built-in enough culture where it's one of those situations where it's kind of one of those wait your turn type of deals.
Has like 3 years of eligibility left, right?
Yeah, could Stubblefield have played this year? Absolutely. In place of Eric Phoenix, but he waited his turn. Until his number was called and his time came. To be able to develop not only just a good year or have a good season, but to develop a really good program, you need to be able to have some sense of continuity. And in order to be able to have some sense of continuity, you have to have buy-in from your kids. And so in having buy-in from your kids, those kids have to understand that, hey, listen, we have an embarrassment of riches at this position right now. And that delayed doesn't necessarily mean denied. All it means is that your time is coming. And so while your time may not be today, that doesn't necessarily mean that your time isn't here. To be perfectly frank, we take a next man up, kind of methodology. We're always one play away from you having your opportunity. Things could go left. God forbid that doesn't happen. But let's say next season, first game of second game of the year, something happens to Stubb and he has to miss an extended amount of time. Yeah, now you're the next man up. And now it's your opportunity to be able to show and prove, but you have to also be able to have some wherewithal and some faith and understand that, these folks have my best interest at heart. And I think that's a conversation that the coaching staff will have with his parents. They're really great people. They've and while he may not necessarily be happy right now with the playing time that he's getting, he also needs to, understand that, in a situation like that, you need to be able to be readily available. And so if I were him, that would be the pitch that I would give, just simply because of the fact that it's the truth. Not only
so
that,
you said you actually want him to stay. That's what you're saying, Brad?
I'd love for him to stay.
I'd love
for him to stay.
Oh, okay, not me.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. But they recruited him. They thought enough of him that he was somebody who could, fit what they wanted to do. And so if that's the case, then I think that we as fans need to be able to see it through from their perspective and from their vision.
Right.
These coaches get paid a lot of money to be able to evaluate talent.
They do.
And from that standpoint, I think I trust them because they make a hell of a lot of money to be able to do it. And so, from that standpoint, I would, again, that would be my pitch to him. And then you let the chips fall where they may. If things work out, they work out. If they don't, then they don't. But it won't be for a lack of. I mean, it's an open competition, and the coach always preaches that it's an open competition. So if you feel as though you're the better quarterback, then you go out and you prove it on the field. But you can't do that if you don't have any skin in the game and you're not here to do that. You got to be at spring practice. You got to work out. You got to work out hard in the off season. If there are things that you need to shore up, within your game to make you a better player, or for you to get to that next level, then those are things that you need to be able, then those are things that you need to take upon yourself, you know, really do some soul searching and work on those things. And so that's where I would go, you know, from that standpoint.
Hey, I totally agree with you, brother. I totally agree with you. Hey, if he puts in the work, if he wants to put in the work, and that's a key word, if he wants to put in the work, by all means, brother, we'd love to have you. But if you don't want to put in the work, then it is what it is.
Well, I think that goes for anybody, and I don't think that's just limited just to quarterback.
Right. Of course it's not. Yeah.
And I think they've shown that, you know, if you're willing to put in the work, it doesn't matter, you know, kind of how you've been recruited, whether you're whatever star you are, where you've come from, where you've transferred from, so on and so forth. If you've got the work ethic and you understand the scheme and you're willing to be able to, you know, take those extra steps in order to make things happen, then you'll get the playing time on the field, because we're only going to put the best. You should only put the best talent on the field, because the players know. If anybody knows, the guys in that locker room know who should be on the field and who shouldn't be on the field. So there's that.
And they have done a fair job at that, I would say, the coaching staff. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't favoritism or anything like that. Didn't matter if you came in on the pew, it didn't matter if you followed them. If you were good enough, you was gonna play. And
everybody had an opportunity.
Because you know, we in the Celebration Bowl, it worked out perfectly. So all right, it was the right mix of guys. I will also say before we move on, just the people watching, we're gonna have people enter the portal just like every other school. So
exactly.
When you see a name and you're like, oh man, like what happened here? Like I didn't want him to go. It's just that's the way college football is now. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how they were treated during that time here, or you know, just how their careers turned out here. It's always gonna be that now. This is a new day. They feel like they can get a better opportunity. They're gonna try and take it. So just don't be surprised when you see a name that you may not have want to see in the portal from us. Hop in the portal. This is a new day and age. But as the saying goes, the same way that portal gives, it takes away. All right. When they come out, somebody gonna come back in. All right. If we were able to do such a good job recruiting with a little bit of time that they had, imagine what they can do with a whole offseason now.
You never answered the question though, Kobe.
What?
Do you feel that we need another quarterback?
Oh,
I was gonna say yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just want to see where y'all was at, right?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I'm not opposed to kicking the tires on finding somebody else. If you can always upgrade or increase your talent, then you always do so.
So let me ask y'all this. Let me ask y'all this real quick. Do you automatically give Stubbs the starting role?
No.
Tell a quarterback, hey, you're gonna be the backup, or do you make it a flat open competition?
It's always a competition. It's always a competition.
Always a competition. But here's the thing: we're not trying to regress after this season.
Right.
We're trying to moving forward. I don't want you to be comfortable because you played in 2 games last year. If you're the best and you've already you got some tape out there. You showed us what you could do last year, so you shouldn't even have a problem.
So
anyway,
but you saw where we was last spring, though.
That's what I'm saying.
So I may catch some heat for this, and if I do,
we'll take the heat.
It's just the fact of the matter. One of the things that I appreciate about this new regime is that there's always a competition when it comes to talent. I think with the previous regime before Coach Berry came on, folks were just slotted in and they were loyal to a fault to certain guys, whether they deserve to be in that position or not. And as a result of that, it cost us some games. And so, everybody in the world could see that, we had some players in some skill positions that may not have necessarily been the best player and may not have been the best player in the room.
Loyalty.
But because of a myriad of different reasons, they were the people that were trotted out there, kind of every Saturday. And when those things happen, you tend to get kind of a general malaise from your fans, especially when things went well, it was good. But when things didn't go well, then you knew they really didn't go well.
Right.
And it was more so of the latter than the former, particularly that last year. And so, that being said, I appreciate the fact that they came out immediately and said, no, this is an open competition and always will be. And the fact of the matter is that it keeps those teams, it keeps those players on their toes, because you're only as good as the week before, you're only as good as your last outing, right? If you aren't bringing it in practice the way that you should be, then you may be sitting this week, and and one of two things can happen. It's either a fight or flight type of thing. Either you're going to get upset, get your proverbial stuff together and get back and do what you need to do to get back out there, or you're going to sulk. And then if you sulk, then that means you shouldn't have been in that position in the first place, because you didn't want to work hard enough to get back to where you needed to be. You thought you were owed something as opposed to having to work for it.
So, Sean, I'm gonna say this, right? We're in the championship right now, so you're not really seeing anybody announcing their intentions to go into the portal. But for schools like Morgan State, some of their best players already entered. Jason Pavard just entered that portal today. That was one of the best young DBs in FCS. All right, so
a dog.
I like a real dog. I get it, right? We of course we don't want to see Bill go. We don't want to see Hannibal go. We don't want to see
absolutely.
But
Bill ain't going nowhere.
So there we go, right? But the thing is, somebody gonna leave.
Somebody gonna leave.
That's the way it goes when you balling.
Somebody gonna leave. Somebody
gonna call, just like the same way me and Tuck looked at each other after that Howard game last year.
Oh man,
we knew they gonna call your phone when you balling. Somebody gonna call your phone. All right, so it's gonna be up to these kids. Somebody gonna leave. Brother.
Well, we thought the sky was falling, didn't we?
We have to be comfortable in our coaching staff's ability to recruit and replenish. Right? We need to have a little bit more confidence in that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, they might.
And that's the beauty of truly building not just a team, but building a program.
Yeah, right.
When you're building a program, you can rinse, wash, repeat. And so people, when you're building a program, kids want to stay to play for you.
Yes, they do.
They're not looking at the grass because they feel like it's greener on the other side, because quite frankly, the grass is pretty green in Orangeburg right now and will be for the foreseeable future. So to that point, I think we're doing a good job of the genesis of rebuilding the program. We've always had a solid program. We're one of the HBCU FCS Blue Bloods and have been since the FCS's inception. And so I don't see that changing anytime soon. And so all of those things being said, you have all of that history to lean on. You have all of these different experiences and players that you can point to that you've put into the pros. It's too many. You have too many examples of things that we've already done the right way. From coaches and being loyal to them and making. And I mean, even from that perspective, even in down years, not giving them a quick hook, which we can kind of talk about that, in a little bit, probably in the next segment, if you will. But making sure that you take care of the people who take care of you. And if you take care of the people who take care of you, then what you do is you build lifelong stewards and advocates of not only your program, but of your university as well.
Yeah. If I could just jump in real quick, man. I am a part of one of the greatest fraternities ever known to man. Brad knows a lot about this fraternity right here, man. He's all the time jealous of us.
I didn't want to have to do this, Terrence. I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to do it. I don't want to do it.
But the reason why I say this is because you know, I have been blessed to have an affiliation with a lot of high school football coaches and some college coaches. And I have been given a vote of confidence from a lot of my frat bros who are high school coaches, not only just in South Carolina, but in Atlanta, Georgia, North Carolina, and even Florida. And they said that they have seen South Carolina State knocking on their doors. And that is listen, from what I'm hearing, man, we are really building some solid relationship with these coaches and these players, okay, and these players. So, you know, from a recruiting standpoint, man, I feel that we're going to do well. And you know, of course, you know, who knows what kind of publicity we can get from this whole celebration, you know, from the whole Celebration Bowl deal. That within itself brings us, you know, some publicity we can't even pay for, right? But I feel that when it comes to recruiting, much like Brad said, man, we're in a good place. We have a good foundation. We have kids that have bought in to this program. And yes, we have a lot of seniors leaving, but we also have a lot of players coming, and we have a lot of players that are watching also that will love to come to South Carolina State University.
I will say, Mike, just to respond, Deshaun, I don't want to see them go either. I agree. You know, we agree on that. But the thing is, I'm just saying, if they do, right? Like, I didn't want to see Najon Barber go last year. We replaced that. We filled that hole pretty good. I'd say we filled that hole pretty well. So I'm confident.
This defensive line this year is way better than last year's defensive line.
I think without question.
Hands down.
I think without question.
Hands down.
Let's talk about impressive. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tuck.
Did y'all see Bill having the year he had this year?
I did not.
I did.
Did you see that? You didn't see it?
Leading the nation.
I thought it would have been Jaden based on what he did last year with Lubert over at Benedict. I knew his talent would carry over. But no, I did not. He caught me, and the shot caught me by surprise as well. Quite frankly, both of them did.
That's good.
They were pleasant surprises. They were.
Who had the most impressive performance to you last week? Because see, me, of course, offensively, you know who is between, right? Stubb and KZ, right? KZ having 18 attempts. This was his best game of the season statistically.
Yeah.
This was his best performance. The boy averaged 7 yards a carry. Did y'all know that?
Yeah.
7 yards a carry. 3 touchdowns, 168 yards, and 18 attempts. But here comes Stubb, right, with 4 total touchdowns. 2 passing, 18 for 25, 269 yards. Who do you give that? If you're the coach, right? Who do you give that ball game to?
Stubbs.
Stubbs?
What?
Hey,
bro, we lose that game without Stubbs, dog.
I'm not saying.
No, I'm not gonna say we lose that game. My bad.
I understand the stuff. I'm just saying, KZ. You was a little too ready to pick Stubbs. Like
yes, bro. Okay, I'm gonna say this right here. KZ did what KZ do. We listen. KZ is a phenomenal ball player. Has been one since high school, man. Historic senior season. Phenomenal kid. Awesome job, man. He was, you know what I'm saying? KZ was due this kind of performance. You know what I'm saying? Like because he is such a phenomenal talent. And I was so happy for him because he deserves this. So yes, he put on for the city. Those moves my man was putting on was like, yo, video game type stuff, man. Like he's a beast, man. I'm talking about awesome. For this to be, so here's the reason why I picked Stubbs, okay? For this to be his first start, let's say in almost 3 years, his first collegiate start. Okay, remember now he transferred to he actually went to East Carolina. Didn't start there. transferred to Incontinent Word, didn't start there, and came here and didn't start. This was his first starting game in almost 3 years. For me, he did his thing.
Man, listen.
Let
me say, I'm not mad at it. I get it. You can't. I don't think there's no wrong pick to this. I'm just,
I'm of the ilk that the game ball, of course, should have went to KZ. It was his coming out party. Yes, Saturday. For those of us who aren't in South Carolina or who don't follow South Carolina high school preps as much as most, I think he showed why he's the only 3,000-yard rusher in the history of the state. He had a phenomenal game. And you could tell it kind of goes back to exactly what I was talking about waiting your turn. And not being, not sulking, not, being ready for the moment. Chuck, you talked about Stubblefield having his actual first collegiate start. And while that might be true, he came in very, very early in the first quarter against Morgan State after Phoenix went down. So while he didn't start the game, he played the lion's share of the game. So considering the fact that he played the lion's share of the game and then dovetailed that into this game against Norfolk State, a battered and bruised team who really didn't have anything to play for. The battered, they were kind of battered and bruised. They were really just kind of ready to get out of there. We really just needed to give them a reason to fold and not, stay in the game. But no, I thought Casey did a phenomenal job with the opportunities that he had, and much like Kobe said, he only had 18 carries, so it wasn't like he carried the rock a ton of times. He was just extremely efficient when he did get the football. Yeah, rushing at 7 yards a clip. And guys, here's the funny thing, his longest rush from scrimmage during that game was only 37 yards. So it wasn't like he broke one for 70. It wasn't like his numbers were overinflated because he had a 75 or 80-yard run. He was just 10 yards here, 12 yards there, 6 yards here, 8 yards there. And I mean, if you can continue to do that, you can continue to turn first downs. What that does for the quarterback is it takes a hell of a lot of work, a lot of the load off of his shoulders to have to drop back and throw the ball 30, 40 times. Yeah. Offensive lines working. Those guys are road grading. Those guys are road grading guys up front, opening those holes in order for him to be able to, accumulate the yards that he did. And then he's also got some really good shiftiness to him, where he's able to, when he gets to that second level, make that man, make that defender miss and gain another 3 to 4 yards. So that could be the difference between, he and, while Duhart is more of your bruiser, and when we initially talked at the beginning of the season, I was actually on another podcast. I was doing the opening for the Florida A&M game. I told we had a Thunder and Lightning duo, and this might be the first time that I can remember a true Thunder and Lightning duo since Will Ford and Deshaun Baker, where both of those guys, where D-Bake kind of hits you and he beats you up, and then Will Ford was your home run hitter. I see a lot of that in Duhart and KZ. I know Duhart's probably a little banged up right now, and the rest is definitely going to help everybody, because I think everybody's hurting at this point. Everybody's hurting. And everybody can certainly use the break going into the Celebration Bowl. But I think it'll give us a great opportunity, for our guys to rest up and heal and get ready. We can kind of sit back and then just kind of watch to see who we're going to be playing and then turn our focus to them. So, with that being said, Kobe, if you don't have anything else, I think that may lead into your next segment.
Well, I got something to say. Hold up. So let me ask you this, Kobe. if let's say if Stubbs connects with Caden High with that drop pass, right, and he scores, do you still give it to KC?
Hey, it's a little hard. But all right, so all right, portal. I want to talk about the portal a little bit.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Like I said, it's booming right now.
Yeah.
We're seeing a lot of playmakers, not just the guys who we know are looking to go FBS, but guys in the FCS are looking for new homes or who are going to stay on this level. I just want to say that I think it's important, right, that we kind of know what our game plan is, and I understand it because look, it worked for us. But I do think if we just put a little bit more attention on keeping guys in state who are leaving firm, and maybe even the Gamecocks and Clemson, who are stepping down a little bit, I think do wonders for us, right? I really do. Just like that running back, Lev Wofford, right? Now,
yes.
Ran for 2,000 yards or something crazy like that in his career. The boy's a bruiser, right? Like he's a real deal running back. I think going after a guy like him, right, or just going after any of these guys who are still in state, I think it can help us. What y'all think? Or do we stick to this current model that we got?
I think it depends on him and if he wants to be a part of the program. Interestingly enough, we have Wofford on the schedule next year for 2025. So selfishly, it would be a nice revenge game for him. But I don't know. I'll be honest. I'll leave that kind of stuff up to the coaches. I'm sure they've been in contact with a ton of folks. I'm sure their phones are ringing off the hook. Especially considering the fact that we've clinched and we're going to the title game. And I think they'll identify the best talent that's out there, and then they'll go from they'll kind of go from there. So I don't want to speculate. I don't want to speculate anything. If folks are truly interested, I liken it to NFL scouts. If you're good, we'll find you.
I think that so signing day. So the first part of National Signing Day is about 7 days away, right? And that's gonna be big for most kids, especially in those Power 5, type schools and stuff like that. But I think that we get the bulk of our kids during the February signing, that is National Signing Day. And I think that with us playing football in December helps us big time. Right. Most coaches right now, if you didn't make it to December, you're out recruiting right now. And who's to say that we're not out recruiting? Coaches may still be out recruiting. Calling them, making visits and stuff like that. Because Barry has a hardworking staff, man. Hardworking staff. Like Brad said, we don't know what his strategy is, but I trust their strategy, hands down. So I'm pretty much, because think about it. Last year he had what, 2 months, 3 months to recruit. You know what I mean? And this year he had a whole year. He's pretty much had a whole year. Him and the staff had a whole year to kind of recruit, build relationships, and form relationships. And you know, I'm pretty positive. You know, especially by what I'm hearing from you know, friends and stuff like that. Man, I'm pretty positive that not only in February, but you know, during the summertime and stuff like that, before our first game, we'll have some solid ball players lining up next year.
Yeah, no, we know they actively recruit right now. You can see it on social media, asking for film and hey, we're looking for these sort of guys. You see it already happen. It's just I don't know. It's since you know we only got one more game left, you kind of start to get excited about who's potentially going to be in next year. So that's why we just want to talk about that quickly. Now, let's talk about a topic that has been brought up by a certain conference every single year around this time, right? Now, y'all know what I'm talking about. Every time a school from the MEAC clinches, here comes the swag. All right, it's not that they month off. All right, the rest for 3 weeks. That's crazy. They need a MEAC title. It's not gonna happen, right? The fact of the matter is we don't have enough schools. I don't know what you want us to do about it. We're trying. We're trying. All right, we've extended the offer to somebody to a couple schools they haven't bid yet. That's just the reality of it. But I will say this, right? I will say this. When Grambling won in 2016, it was none of that. Right? When FAMU won, well, now FAMU did kind of use the month off thing before they won, so I'm gonna leave them out of it. But the point is, man, it doesn't really give us an advantage, right? That's what I want to ask y'all. Do y'all really feel like having those weeks off really gives us that much of an advantage? Because if you ask me, while it does give us a chance to get healthy, and that is an advantage for us, y'all are still, I would argue that there's a little bit of rust to be knocked off being out that long.
Fair.
There's a little bit of rust you got to knock off. Meanwhile, y'all have still been playing. It would be a little bit easier for y'all to get back in the rhythm when game time comes in Atlanta. So that's just me. I want to know y'all's opinion on it. When it comes to the Celebration Bowl, is the month off really a big deciding factor in us winning it? Right? Is it really that much of an advantage over the SWAC?
Terrence?
I mean, who cares what the SWAC thinks, first of all? And man, it's a gift and a curse, bro. Like you could like both sides have good arguments. Like, I mean, you know, you take a month off of anything, bro, that's rust. You know what I'm saying? You like, you're not playing week to week. You know what I'm saying? Like that really does, that really can you know, if you don't have the right staff and the right strength and conditioning, you know what I'm saying, team, that can play a huge negative role in some things. But we're a battered team as well, so that, you know, so that time off really can be beneficial for us, because we are the walking wounded right now. So we actually need that time to you know what I'm saying, heal and get you know, get cast together. You know, we still won't know, you know what I'm saying, who we playing until December 7th.
That's so when them boys say time to scout and prepare, game plan matters, we don't even know who we playing.
That's what I'm saying. We
don't know. We think it's gonna be y'all. We think it's gonna be Jackson State. We expect it Jackson State. We don't know.
Damn, Jackson State.
Yeah, man. and just let me piggyback off of that, Kobe. Both coaching staffs are good enough where they can prepare. They've seen each other this season. They know exactly what each other has and what they'll be bringing to the table for in terms of the SWAC championship game. Nothing has changed that much between the last time that they played and when they'll play in Jackson again for all of the marbles, right? That being said, they know exactly who they're going to be playing, so they could already be doing some evaluation and some scouting at the same time while they're getting ready for the SWAC championship game. Now, while their focus may not be necessarily laser on, whomever they're going to be playing in the Celebration Bowl, they can already start kind of doing some formulaic things on, foundational things on, what the school likes, from an offensive perspective, what they like to do schematically, what we like to do defensively, et cetera, so on and so forth. So it's not as if the coaching staff is just kind of sitting in their office twiddling their thumbs and only thinking about the SWAC championship game. I call BS on that.
It'd be crazy.
I'm willing to bet you that not only are they, while they're preparing for the SWAC championship game, they're also preparing for the Celebration Bowl at the same time. Both coaching staffs, depending on because both teams are playing to prepare to win, and so they want to be ready, understanding the fact that they only have that 1 week. Here's where I stand with it. Because of the number of teams in the SWAC conference, because of the Bayou Classic on Thursday that's not going to move because of television reasons, and because of the national broadcast on NBC that has been there since 1974. Because of all of those things, and because there's such financial boons for not only the universities but for the conference at large, those games are the reason that you guys are essentially kind of put behind the 8 ball, and that you only have that week to prepare. That's not a MEAC thing. That's not anything that the MEAC can do. There's nothing the MEAC can do about that. That is a path that you've chosen to chart. And so because that's a path that you've chosen to chart, then you have to take everything that comes along with that. If that means that you only have a week to prepare for the Celebration Bowl, then so be it. But you can't enjoy the spoils and the riches of having these additional games and the revenue streams that come along with it, and complain about the fact that we've had 3 weeks and complain about the fact that we've had 3 weeks off because we've chosen not to have a championship game. Number one, because we just simply don't have a number of conference member schools that play football. And number two, because you guys have chosen, the revenue and the tradition over, being able to have your teams be able to fully prepare for the Celebration Bowl. Now, what I am willing to bet you is that if the SWAC is to win this year, which I obviously hope doesn't happen, then you won't hear any of those. You won't hear any of those excuses, of course, right? And you won't hear the MEAC complain about being rusty, because we never, quite frankly, we never do.
We don't make excuses like them, first of all, and then second of all, they are already looking for an excuse. That's why this is such a topic. You know what I'm saying? When we win, that's gonna be what everybody walk out the stadium saying. Oh, they had a month to prepare. Yeah, that's all. That's what losers do. Losers look for an excuse.
Right. And to Spence, just to answer your question, who can't win the MEAC conference with 6 teams? I would say 5 other teams can't win the MEAC conference with 6 teams, because there can only be one. Loser.
All right. Let's talk about sticking to the Celebration Bowl. Let's talk about the protocol that was just put into place. As y'all know, there have been a total of 4 brawls in about 2 weeks. 3 of them taking place in like 24 hours. All right, PV, FAMU, Central and Howard, Virginia State, Virginia Union, and of course Jackson State, Bama State. Now, as a result, the Celebration Bowl higher ups have said, "Hey, y'all not finna embarrass us on national TV."
But Virginia State and Virginia Union fought too?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes.
They did. But
wow.
There were 3 that day.
Wow.
There were 3 the same day. Yes.
So interesting.
Bro George, I got Jackson State. Y'all know that. They came out and they said, from this point on, the losing team goes straight to the tunnel. Go straight to the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Do not pass go. Do not collect to it. That go straight to the locker room. All right, and the coaches will have a chance to shake hands and congratulate each other while the winning team stays on the field and celebrate. Although I get it, I get it, right? Because 4 fights in 2 weeks is crazy. It's crazy. I kind of don't like it. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's necessary, and I understand why it's been done. I don't think we've had that happen in the Celebration Bowl up until this point. I don't see it happening between us and whoever will play. Even though you just never know. I don't see it happening. I don't really like it too much. I'm gonna be honest with you. I just don't see the need. I get you want to be proactive and you want to prevent this thing from happening on the national stage because you have a brand that you want to protect and you don't want that negative attention. Especially knowing how sports fans can be. Oh, they're fighting. They're HBCUs, right? The whole thug label, all of that. I get it, but I just don't see it happening. I think what we saw was kind of an anomaly, having 3 fights in 24 hours and 4 fights in 2 weeks altogether. So what were your thoughts on this protocol when y'all found out about it?
I understand the logic. Simply just for the fact of exactly what you just said. This has an opportunity to spill into something that could be really, really detrimental from a national brand perspective. And what you want to do is in those instances, you want to mitigate risk as much as you can before you have to. And so if you're in a situation where you can kind of eradicate the threat, then you do that until the teams show or until you get into a place where you feel as though, that's not going to happen. And just because that's the rule today doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the rule forever. It's just the rule for this season, right? They could take it on a year-to-year basis. Right now, we understand that that's what it is for the foreseeable future. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it's always going to be. I commend John Grant, the executive director of the Celebration Bowl, and his staff for having the foresight and the wherewithal to be able to nip this in the bud, immediately, so that it doesn't cause anything. It doesn't cause any issues going forward. And to be quite frank, as a player, if I just lost on the biggest stage for the HBCU National Championship, quite frankly, I don't want to be on the field. I don't want to see you celebrate. I want to go back into the locker room. And I want to think about what we did wrong and how we could have played better and what we could have done better in order to be able to get that win. I don't want to see the confetti come down. I don't want to see you on the stage hoisting that trophy that I think should be rightfully ours if we would have just played a little better. That's insult to injury. And so in those instances, if you are on the field, those could then drum up negative feelings that you may not necessarily have if you're in the locker room with your brothers, as opposed to on the field watching others celebrate. And so it makes perfect sense to me. The coaches are the coaches are adults, and they're held to that. They're held to a higher standard. So yes, they should be the ones that should be shaking hands. Good game, coach. I need to go talk to my team. There's the NCAA 15-minute cooling off period, as mandated by the NCAA. Once that happens, then the losing team typically comes out and they speak first. They'll do their press conference. Once they've done their press conference, then the winning team by that time has probably already done the trophy presentation and all of those good things, so on and so forth. And then they come in and they do their press conference. That's typically what the protocol is. The only caveat to that is that the losing players just won't be on the field. And to be honest with you, 90% of the times when those teams win the Celebration Bowl, those guys usually kind of like shake hands or something like that. But that's just the fact that they just won't be able to do that this year. They just have to go straight back to the tunnel. So if you're friends with somebody on the team, you'll see them at the end of the game. Everybody stays in the same team hotel. And so if you want to see them, you can see them at the end of the game. Afterwards, y'all can chop it up. Y'all can chop it up then. I'm sure cooler heads would have prevailed by then. And then, it's from there. Because, of course, tensions are high. You just lost the championship, all of that good stuff. And so, from that perspective, you want to be able to, again, like I said, mitigate those risks. So I don't have a problem with it whatsoever.
I think, Brad, you're spot on with that, man. He had to do it. He's a great leader. He's been running this ship for a long time. He was in Orangeburg this past weekend. We had a chance to actually meet him. He had a great time, and so did his team. But I think that he had to do it. I had no idea that many people had fought. No idea. But I have been going to these Celebration Bowls since its first year, and I've never seen players, fight or tensions get high once the game is over. Each team has, took the win or loss with class, and dignity. But I think, just how the culture is right now, how high the tension is, you had to do that. You had to actually make that that decision. And me being, just listen, man. We all play sports, man. Most of us have.
It's an emotional,
huh?
It's an emotional sport, man.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Nobody wants to. If they beat us, nobody wants to sit out there and shake hands and kumbaya after the game. Maybe maybe an hour later, 2 hours later, whatnot. But right after the game, bro, because you put in so much work to actually get to that point. And you have some seniors who are playing their last college football game. Okay, so it's a lot of emotions there, right? People, family members are there, friends, man, girlfriends, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And there are a lot of people who are playing their hearts out, and to, to actually sit there, right, give it your all, and then lose, not only in front of like 5,000-10,000 people, but maybe in front of millions, right? That's tough. And so I'm glad that he actually made the decision to, hey man, you lose, just go to the locker room, and let South Carolina State have their moment.
All right.
I caught that. I caught that. I'll be silent on that one.
I had to slip that one in. You know what I'm saying?
I'll remain silent on that one.
All right.
But that's crazy. Y'all. Hey, but that's crazy, man. Y'all don't sound confident at all, bro. But it is what it is. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm the only confident one on here.
I don't know if it's a lack of confidence in just respecting your opponent. That's all.
Hey,
it's not. It has absolutely.
You
nothing
can respect them, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, it has absolutely nothing to do with not being confident.
That's you, Brad.
Your opponent.
We different. We different.
Any given Saturday, sir.
We different. We different, Brad. Know that now. Respect that. We different.
Yo, SWAC championship. Now we really ain't got no more games to focus on with us because we know where we are. But now, of course, we ain't talking about the Grambling and Southern. I want to go ahead to the SWAC championship because I can't wait for us to talk about who we're gonna face officially. I'm ready to get that going. I'm ready to scout. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to break down our opponent. I'm ready to do all that. So, Jackson State and Southern. We all got. Of course, Jackson State is favored. Of course, I have Jackson State winning. But I don't think Southern is going to lay down, right?
As they shouldn't.
I think Southern got something up their sleeve because really all you need is one win. It don't matter what happened early in the season. All you got to do is get past them to get where you want to go. All right, so I favor Jackson State. I think Jackson State will win this, but I don't know. I just feel like Southern is cooking up something right now. I think they cooking up something. Even with this whole game that they got with Grambling, I think they cooking up something for Jackson State. I just don't know what. Who do y'all have?
I can say just I'm a huge fan of Southern. I always have been. Love their culture. Love their band for sure. got a few family members that actually went to Southern. Been to a couple of games growing up. Used to go to the Bayou Classic for many years. It used to be one of my family trips growing up. So I've been a huge Southern fan for a long time. I would love to see Southern make the Celebration Bowl. I think that that'd be good for their culture, man, for their school, for their community. They also travel well as well. I think that Terrence Graves, he's a great coach, players coach. I would love that for him as well. I don't really care about Jackson State like that. But I would love to see Southern win solely because I'm a huge fan of Terrence Graves, and that would be big to have Southern playing against Chennis Barrett.
That would be.
Yeah.
Brad, who you
got? For all of the reasons you said, I think it's Jackson State. That's favored, and I think they'll likely be the ones. I mean, they've been the best team in the SWAC all season. They've been kind of, I don't want to say head and shoulders above everybody else, but they've truly been the class of the conference. Led by Jacoby and Morgan, who's having a phenomenal season, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. We know what Irv Mulligan, the transfer running back from Wofford, originally from Beaufort, South Carolina, your neck of the woods, Kobe.
We should not. Kobe, you wrong for that, Kobe.
Listen. I still get mad at Irv over there. I still get mad at that. I ain't wanted him to leave.
Yeah, finally crossed the 1,000-yard threshold in his last game against Alcorn State. Heck of a running back. Terry, you're absolutely right. Next month is the 30th anniversary of the '94 Heritage Bowl win. That was the game that if you guys remember, Eddie Robinson that season was going for his 400th win. He was currently at 397. He was currently at 397. He would have gotten number 398. But Marvin Marshall threw a touchdown pass to Kelly Craig late in the fourth quarter to secure the victory. I don't know why I know those things right off the top of my head, but I just do. Yeah, I mean, and not only that, it's also the 50th anniversary of the 1974 MEAC championship team, the first MEAC championship team that we had. And so those guys were honored also by the Celebration Bowl and by John Grant, and will be honored at the Celebration Bowl festivities in Atlanta. So, a lot of pomp and circumstance, a lot of fanfare, and I know you didn't. That's kind of going off on a tangent, Kobe. But I think between the offensive firepower that Jackson State has, coupled with their defense, I think Jackson State's definitely going to be favored in the SWAC championship game, and will ultimately prevail victorious. I'd love to see them. Just again, I told you guys last week when we talked. I want a rubber match. I mean, this is, we've beat them once. They beat us once. And so this would be the third. This would be the third time we would have played in 3 years. And so, this will be and not for nothing, guys. It'll be a good measuring stick game for us. Them, the Tennessee States of the world. I mean, we've already knocked off North Carolina Central. All four of the teams, including us, are now ranked in the FCS top 25. So if we're able to come out and say that we knocked off 2 of the 4 HBCUs in the top 25, I think that's a real nice feather in our cap to culminate the season with us being HBCU national champions. So absolutely, I'd love to see Jackson State.
Yeah. That's all, Brad. No, let's just put it all on the table. Yes, I want to see Jackson State, but round 3. I want round 3. You know what I'm saying? Because we got the Celebration Bowl victory. They did in the MEAC challenge, and they think that that's enough, right? They They was real happy after they got the little get back. I want round 3, and I want to take it in Atlanta again. Because if we do, can't nothing be said now. Because like Sean does said, we do take out the top running back for everybody to be facing. I mean, we took Jamari Taylor out the game. That's what we do, right? We take the top running back out the game. So I think this is it's gonna be a good matchup for sure.
Is Jamari Taylor better than Mulligan? Is Jamari Taylor better than Jackson State running back?
I wouldn't say that. I don't think it's far, but no, I wouldn't say that. I think Herb is better. I would take Herb. I would take Herb because he runs harder.
I think it's close. Taylor's good, but you also got to understand that Taylor's young.
Mm-hmm. How young is he? Because I never knew his classification.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he's sophomore.
Damn.
Maybe? Yeah, because oh my God, what's the guy's name that played with Davius Rashard? That was their starter in the celebration. Moon. Yeah. So he was the heir apparent. He was the heir apparent to him.
Good Lord.
I mean, listen, I don't have no problems,
That's right.
facing Jackson State. To be honest with you, man, as much trash, as I talk, about Jackson State, it's not towards their team. It's more towards their fans, right? They have the most obnoxious fan base ever. But I love their team.
That's not true. That's not true.
They have
that's not true.
The
most obnoxious. The most, and I'll say, and I wouldn't even say obnoxious. I would say.
Let me finish.
Okay.
In my opinion, I have a huge respect level for TC Taylor. A huge respect level for the job he's done. He's taken that team by the, just
for sure.
By the horn, and he's created a phenomenal football team. So I'm not knocking him nor their team. We play Jackson State. We in for a battle because they have a team, man. I just have a personal beef with their fan base, not their team. Listen. It is not towards TC Taylor, his staff, nor the football team. They have a phenomenal damn football team, and I'm scared of them, to be honest with you. Okay, because they play some good football. They actually play sound football. Their defensive line coach was coaching high school football like 2 or 3 years ago, man. He started from the bottom. So I got a lot of respect for a lot of their coaches, man, their players. But so my issue is not with their team. My issue is with their fan base, and that's it. But go ahead, my bad, Brad. Go ahead.
No. That sounds it's personal for you.
Yeah, it's personal.
But as a consensus, I'd say the most passionate, and sometimes most delusional fan bases definitely resides in the capital of Florida. It's Florida A&M.
You think so?
That's for a fact. That's for a fact.
Okay,
listen,
so you think now? Granted, you live down there.
I attended both South Carolina State and family members. I can tell you.
Let everybody know first. Let everybody know, Brad. You have a daughter that actually goes to family.
I have a daughter who attends FAMU right now. That's
right.
Correct.
So listen, first of all, salute to her for doing her thing. Salute to you as a dad, first of all. And so you see it from a different side. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, not only that, but I was a graduate assistant at FAMU.
Right.
And so I've been in it enough to know, even in those years that were down, when they had the Reuben Carters and the Alex Woods and the Earl Hitman Holmes, and the Corey Fullers and all of those coaches, you would have thought they still had Nick Saban and Brian Kelly and Urban Meyer, you name it. That's just who their fan base is, and that's just the truth of it all.
I think you're absolutely correct. You know what? Now that I think about it, because reason being is because we've had a long going history rivalry with FAMU for so many years. Going from the MEAC, right? So many years. When this somewhat rivalry of Jackson State kind of started whenever Deion Sanders came, when we played him in the Celebration Bowl, correct?
Right. It was the first time we had played them since the Circle City Classic in 1993. Right. Prior to that,
do you feel, Kobe? Do you feel, Brad, that we were highly disrespected going into that football game?
Well, we know we were, and that was of no fault of theirs. That wasn't their fault. I don't think that was their fault. I think that was everybody who was around. That was everybody who was around the Coach Prime hype train and media circus that he commands a lot of attention and a lot of spotlight. And so I don't think it necessarily had anything to do with the fact that they didn't feel like we were a formidable opponent, because they know we play good football.
Say that. I can't say that. My bad. I ain't mean to cut you off. I can't say that just because I had Jablonski on here. He confirmed that they were just that disrespectful.
That's what I'm saying, man. I heard so much negative stuff from players.
Shador going up.
Yeah. I was like, wow, what?
He confirmed it.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead. My bad.
I do think what Brad said is real, though. I think they really couldn't help most of that, right?
Yeah.
Came in, you got Jeezy with you, you got Billy with you,
Snoop Dogg giving you shouts out prior to the game.
They truly were a victim of their own success. Yeah. And not because they weren't a good football team. It was just because of all of the excess and the extracurricular that came along with it. And so it gave us a rallying cry, and it gave us something, to hold on to. It gave us bulletin board material, and the proof's in the pudding. But herein lies the rub, guys. This year, that won't be the case.
Nah.
We won't be taken for granted whatsoever. So, we're gonna have to come out with our best football.
Now that you say that, Brad, you're bringing up an excellent point right now. So, what's the difference from going into the last Celebration Bowl versus going into this Celebration Bowl?
Preparation, coaching staff, culture, all of the above. All of the above. I think he'll let them. I think Coach Barry will continue to let the main thing be the main thing, and not allow the guys to get too high or too low on themselves. He'll make sure that they stay even keeled and stay in the moment. Not let the grandiose of the event and all of the ancillary things that come along with it become too much. Keep their focus on the game, and as long as they do that and they go out and they play sound Bulldog football, I think we can play with anybody. We can play with anybody in FCS.
Right. You know what about this matchup, man? And Brad, I do agree with you, but y'all know what's crazy about this matchup. First of all, we go by the same mantra when it comes to chop the wood, carry the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
We say that we got that same saying, but it's the fact that we're a team who gets off to a hot start, right? And we've been doing it all season. And Jackson State is kind of a team who is a second half team.
Are they?
They are. So, right?
I never watched. I get the.
It's that parallel, right? How's that going to play? Because I've been talking to my boy Marcall about this. He's a Jackson State guy. He definitely he's been watching us this season, and he's noticed who have we really had to come back from late in the game? Tennessee Tech, right? Games like that, we've gotten off the hard starts. At the most, we've been in a shootout, but we've never really had to fight from behind with nobody, right?
Yeah. So we did. Came number 1 against FAMU.
Yeah,
we were down at the half, and we were down at the half, and we had to come back in the third quarter, and we eventually took the lead in the third. We eventually took the lead in the third quarter, going into the fourth, and then in the fourth quarter, it all fell apart.
But with the FAMU game, that was our first game as a team. I'm talking about once we got, because even E7, if you look at him versus FAMU to versus now, completely different.
Absolutely.
No, I think that we seen FAMU later on in the season, that wouldn't even have been no question. But just for the season, we've gotten off to this hot start, and then we'll kind of cool down, we'll kind of simmer down in the middle. And I just, knowing the type of team that Jackson State is in the second half, I'm just kind of interested to see how that's going to play out if they win. Even though we're expecting to see them, but if they win, I'm kind of interested to see how that'll play out.
Well, I think that
that was a touchdown.
Oh yes, that definitely was a touchdown. I think that Georgia Southern game taught me so much about that team, man. Just their will, their fight. I mean, yeah, you may look at the actual score and you may think that that Georgia Southern might have ran away with that, with that game, but they didn't, man. I'm telling you, State was out there fighting, man, the whole time, and that gave me confidence to know that State could actually play with, play with anybody on their schedule. And I, listen, man, I would not put nothing past. Well, let's say Jackson State win or Southern wins, but if Jackson State wins, man, I'd put nothing past their coaches. They have some phenomenal coaches, man. Phenomenal coaches that get their team ready to actually play. They Jackson State versus Bama State game was a defensive game. Was a defensive game. Bama State has probably one of the best, defenses there is out here, man. But I'll put our defense up. Listen, we got a good defense too, and we have stopped some very high-powered, running backs and wide receivers. And I think that giving our coach, you give our coaches the time and preparation, man, we can stop anybody.
All right. So, really, first of all, thank y'all so much for tuning in. All right. This really to be about the recap versus Norfolk. But the real content, us getting down to the nitty gritty, is coming within the next week or so. Just because by then we get to really talk about it. We get to really talk about this championship, and there will be no more speculation on who we have to play, who we might play. You know what I'm saying? It'll be in stone, and we can really get into the specifics of this Celebration Bowl. So we just want to thank y'all for tuning in, because it was really just supposed to be a recap. And we went a little longer, and we thank y'all for hanging in with us. Guys, any last comments or topics that y'all want to discuss before we get up out of here?
Go Dogs, man. Listen, I'm so thankful just to be just to be on the show. Thankful to South Carolina State, man, for allowing us to even be on the sidelines, man, getting content with these guys and going to these press conferences. That press conference that Tennis Berry had on last Saturday was monumental. There was a time where me and Kobe looked at each other like, wow, man, like Coach Berry, man, he's in his bag right now. He was in his bag, man. I'm telling you, but
kept receipts in the D2 comments, that's for sure.
Oh man, he was in his bag, man. But just the fact that they allow us to come around, man, get content, man, be a part of the family is just such a blessing. I'm so happy for everybody who was there, man, who actually got a chance to witness it. But I'm happy for those kids who actually bought in, man, those transfers, who had to hear the whole D2 thing for all them months and stuff like that, man. Now they can host that, me at Trophy Up, Salute to everybody. gonna have a good time in Atlanta. Win or lose, man, we're gonna have a good time in Atlanta, and I hope that people travel safe. You know what I mean? Get there safe, man. Take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Bring your family. You know what I'm saying? Bring your kids so they can see what a true historical Black college man vibe really looks like.
I'm gonna say this: losing I ain't putting losing nothing.
I mean, see, I don't think we're gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like I said, I have a lot of respect for whoever we play. But you know what I'm saying, both coaches, of course. But I just want to, you know what I'm saying, just period. We gonna have a good time, period, man, because you know what I'm saying, Bulldogs travel and we travel well and we travel deep. And we're gonna have a good time, man. We'll have a good time, regardless.
I also want to say, we're looking to get a joint show going with Ken and Zoe, of Jackson State. So look out for that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be if they make it, you gotta say that because it's not set in stone right now. But if they make it, we are looking to have joint shows. We want, I'm gonna be on Tamona's podcast. I'm pretty sure Doc, we gonna get something going too. It's gonna be a lot going on. So look for me and Tuck. We're gonna try to get in contact with Ken and Zoe, see what the update is on that. And yeah, man, look for the radio row. Right, we got some stuff coming there.
We got some live coming.
Yeah, shout out to Brad. Shout out to Brad for helping me out with that. Of course, we back in the studio. We're gonna be back in the studio very soon.
Shout out to Kingdom Culture, man. Kingdom Culture. My guy Shantae came through with the clutch. Buckets. Yeah. So, back in the studio next week. We're looking forward to that. Brad, I'm gonna talk to him and see what what he could do about, maybe adding a screen for you, something like that. I'll talk to Shantae later on this week and see what the possibilities are for that.
Okay. We'll love
that too. So we should be able to make that work.
Shantae's a genius, man.
Yeah, just a couple of things from me, guys, just kind of top some loose ends. Just for our podcast watchers and listeners, just some news that you could use. Norfolk State officially parted ways with head coach Dawson Odoms today.
Yeah,
Dawson Odoms was in the third year of his fourth-year contract. Apparently we have a way of getting coaches released from their agreements here in Orangeburg. So unfortunate to see a young man have to lose his employment, but his contract's guaranteed, so he'll still continue to get paid out through the end of the agreement, unless he of course takes on another head coaching position, and then it'll be kind of an offset. Last but certainly not least, man, just kind of some congratulations to Eric Phoenix for being a finalist for the Peyton Award. Walter Payton Award is awarded to the best offensive player in FCS football. Both Phoenix and Jamari Taylor from North Carolina Central were both selected as finalists. Phoenix finished the season with a 65% completion rate, 2,460 yards, 20 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, also 2 rushing touchdowns, and only 10 games of action. So he had a really good, spectacular season. Also, kudos to Coach Berry for being the American Football Coaches Association finalist for Coach of the Year, as well as a finalist for the Eddie Robinson Award, which is given to the #1 FCS coach in the country. So the awards are really starting to pour in. For the Bulldogs and the Bulldog staff. And so, hopefully we'll continue to be able to add hardware to that trophy case in Orangeburg, South Carolina.
One more real quick. Salute to KZ Adams for being the Celebration Bowl Player of the Week.
I did see that, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Thank you. I missed that, Terrence.
No, it's all good. Listen, it's all good. Listen, we got so many of them getting awards. You know what I'm saying?
Hard to keep up, man.
Hey, Hey, so thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next week. We'll let y'all know the day. I think it'll be December 4th, if I'm not mistaken, right? December 4th.
Yes.
That's December 4th. That's when we'll be back in studio.
Oh yeah,
so y'all
studio, yeah.
know what's coming. And with that being said, y'all like the stream. All right, thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time. And if any Jackson State fans are still in here, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with Eric in December. Just know that. Just know that, because they was wondering. Yeah, no, you was hoping he was hurt. No. Y'all gonna see him. But y'all have a good night, though. We love y'all. We'll catch y'all next week. We out.
Y'all take care. Have a good one. Boom.